caught me just doing a bit of pre-season maintenance and maybe even show prep on the MotoVespa GT. Booked in on the Veteran Vespa Club stand for the VMSC extravaganza at Ryton in April. I know that's a little way off, but we're now already into February and it does come round fairly quick. And also planning on riding this a fair bit more this year. We're not doing some long distance stuff, so I want to go and get some miles done on a two-stroke. So, but with a show in mind, and you know, this has never been regarded as a show scooter, although I tend to always find these MotoVespas as being sort of quite significant in the period they were made and some of the design spec of them, because there were some of the Spanish details actually preceding what they did with Vespas in the very late 70s and into the 80s with the PX range, which is having a 12-volt electronic ignition. These were 12-volt electronic ignition from about 1974, which predates the PX by 4 or 5 years. So the Spanish, in some respects, it was a very, very old style of engine, but to have 12-volt electronic ignition was probably a first amongst two-stroke scooters, of European scooters anyway. But it's prompted me to do a little bit of tidying up as well, because you think, oh, show, I need to have a nice, quite tidy scooter. It's not really, as I said, a show quality scooter. It's not something that you would normally see entered, but it's part of a stand of other scooters, and I'll do a video when we get there, and you'll see sort of where it fits in the range of Vespas through from the 60s to the 90s realistically. The one thing I've been planning to do for a little while is replace this little rubber floor mat, because the where your heel sits and presses the brake pedal, it just wears it away. So it needed that replacing. It's been needing that replacing for a couple of years, but it just prompts you to do a couple of things. Rubbed a bit of wire wool around the headlamp surround and the mirror stems to get a bit of surface rust off. A couple of little paintwork touches up. I don't think it's going to make a significant difference to the paintwork on here, but from a distance it looks tidier. And I'm going to give the engine just a very quick service, a gearbox oil change, check spark plug and air filter. It's not done that many miles, but it's probably prudent to do it at this time of the year. Probably not been checked for a couple of years, and also not really necessary for a historic vehicle. Anything that's past its 40th, past the end of its 40th year. In the UK, you can register as a historic vehicle, therefore you don't pay tax and they're exempt from MOT. But I've always had a thing about getting them MOT'd anyway, just for if it's ever involved in an accident or stolen, at least you've got a proof of condition with an official date and time stamp on it, I guess. Probably doesn't mean an awful lot, but it's something, isn't it? It proves that it isn't just a box of bits sat in the garage carrying the historic registration. So I'll get on and do these couple of jobs, stop waffling, and we'll see how it gets on, book it in for MOT, and fingers crossed we'll be out on it in a couple of weeks on our way up to Burton Brewers. Well, that's definitely an improvement over what was there. It might not be perfect, but one of the problems with an older scooter like this is the fact that what jobs and what's been fitted to it before. There's about 3 different sets of holes in that tunnel for different floor mats that have been fitted over the years, and you can probably see there's some holes here where a full-size floor mat was once riveted in. The only real solution to that would be to strip the frame bare, fill the holes with weld, and start completely afresh with a shot blast and respray and a full renovation or restoration. But not ready for it yet. This is a ride-in scooter. Perhaps in a couple of 3 years I might be inclined to, if I still have it, to give it the full works. But I want to get some use out of it. It's mechanically sound, it's got good bearings, brakes, a reasonably freshly rebuilt engine, Probably done about 3 years ago now, but probably may done 3,000 miles, I guess. So realistically, it's got a lot of work in it before it really needs to come apart properly and be fully restored. And I always wanted this scooter just to be a proper runabout, a few patch ups, showing its marks of life. It's not an original paint job anyway, so hopefully I'll get some miles on the clock, well, if the clock works, and we'll get some use out of it before we decide what to do. So onwards with a short engine service, and hopefully all ready to go then. Okay, oil change done. Just finish off this simple basic service. Oil filter, that to me is pretty clean. I'm not even going to touch that. Not really sure whether an external foam filter like that should have some oil spray on it or not, or whether that's more likely to attract more dust to actually stick to it. It's running absolutely fine, so I'm not going to touch it. So last thing I want to do is put a nice fresh spark plug in there again. This one won't have done many miles, but it's done a lot of slow running, and so we'll take a look and see how it appears. There we are. Put a bit dark and sooty would be but then that's a two-stroke that's been running around town, so I'm going to change it anyway, just as a precaution. Don't want it starting to get carboning up on a longer ride, so we'll put a nice brand new one in, an 8, exactly the same, BR80S, which is a middle of the range between a cooler plug and a hotter plug. Purely, this is a standard engine. It's not going to be overly raced, but it is going to be ridden on longer runs, so the engine will be getting up to full temperature. So we don't want a too hot a plug in there that's going to cause the piston to get hot, or the crown of the piston to get too hot and potentially burn through. So, but neither do we need what's known as, just nipping that up. Perfect. Again, just to squash the metal washer that's in there. And plug cap in nice and firm. Yeah, we don't want too cool a plug in there either, because what that'll cause is it fouling up and oiling up at lower temperatures and town riding. So 7, 8 and 9, standard P200 engine, I tend to stick with an 8. So that's all done. Next job really is going to be to get it to the MOT station. Off for MOT we go. Fingers crossed. Not really anticipated any major problems. It's a bit chilly as well, but We're only just into February, so not that surprising. See you later.
So off to Redditch Scooter and Motorcycle Centre for an MOT. So all being well, that should be a pass. There shouldn't be much wrong with this, I hope. But that's the reason why, I guess, even being historic and MOT exempt, we take it just to get somebody else to check it over, just to be on the safe side. Trying out a new version of a helmet cam also on this little ride. A bit experimental, not used it before, so hopefully the footage will come out. But what I'm hoping to do as well is maybe a short video about the camera setup, so I won't reveal any more, although no great secrets. I won't reveal any more about the camera at the moment, and let's just hope the footage comes out.
That's a pass, all good, no advisories, so we're ready to do the last couple of bits and pieces and we can get out and start riding it more regular. Now, virtually all 10-inch wheel Vespas have the ability to carry a spare wheel under your left-hand side panel. This model doesn't have a battery, because often the battery will sit in a tray there. But what this does is it gives me the useful opportunity of using this little bit of storage space here to carry a few tools and spare parts. So what I'll do is we'll have a quick review of what I carry here, tools and spares, and probably add a few as I'm looking to do a little bit more distance this year. Making a useful desk as well, my work stand. So this is a tool roller I carry with me. To be honest, never had to bring it into use, but if I can get the contents out, there we go. There's a spark plug and wheel nut spanner. There's a few odd spanners in there that I've added myself, some little open-ended spanners, and a double-ended screwdriver. So you've got a flat blade and a cross head as well. So cover most emergency eventualities. So that'll go straight back in there as it is. And I also carry this little bag of spare parts. Now, there's not an awful lot in here at the moment. Just a useful little plastic or vinyl bag, nylon bag. Some spare cables, outers, full set of spare inner cables as well, because they're the things that are most likely to cause you grief when out on the road. But just in the bottom of this bag as well, I'm going to add a few other little bits and pieces. Roll of insulation tape, a couple of spare wheel nuts and a tyre valve cap, and can't ever go anywhere without a small handful of cable ties, or zip ties as you call them across the Atlantic. But the other thing is, these selection boxes come from our local German supermarket at various times of the year. So I'm just going to put in a small selection of some random size washers. You never know when they may become useful. And likewise, if I can get into it, some Jubilee clips or hose clips. Not the highest quality, but again, just a couple of 3 of those in there might get you out of, should do it quite comfortably realistically, get you out of a sticky situation. When I go on longer runs, I also will carry an extra bag with me, which will for extra 2-stroke oil, etc., because the glove box on these scooters isn't particularly very big. And from the same German supermarket, they had on offer a couple of weeks ago these little socket sets, various size sockets, Allen keys, different screwdriver bits, extensions, etc. And I just thought that would be a useful little extra tool to, or extra little set of tools to carry, if hopefully not, but if we ever needed to do something a bit more serious. So just pack these up. I'm going to put them back under the panel, and we're pretty much ready to go. MOT test was successful, as yesterday's little bit of video I took, which also means that to explain the MOT to, again, non-British viewers, it is a test of roadworthiness. Modern vehicles in the UK require it to be done every year. Once a scooter or once any vehicle passes its 40th year, we can register them as historic vehicles, and they don't actually need an annual roadworthiness test. But I always feel that, as I've already explained, it's worth getting a extra pair of eyes. May have missed something, bearings or another issue that is a possible safety issue, that is always handy to have somebody else to have a look at. And you've also got that piece of paper that if it ever the scooter gets stolen or damaged in an accident, you've got proof of that it was in roadworthy condition. Whereas without the MOT test certificate, I think the insurance company may, I don't know, but may try and wiggle out, as we know insurance companies do. So there we have it, all done and ready to go. One thing I forgot to mention that should have gone in that spares pouch, I've just used the last one, is a couple of spark plugs. So note to self, order some new spark plugs. Carry a couple of spares with you. But yeah, hope you've enjoyed the video. Hope I haven't rambled on for too long. And if you've made it to the end, thank you very much for watching. Please give us a like, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Got a fair bit coming up this year, various events and rides, so hopefully we'll be able to keep it entertaining. So until next time, bye bye.